Hello, this is Jerry Reynolds, Not Crazy Wood Turning. How I go through the process of making a bowl. So here's a cherry log that is still pretty green. I start by making vertical lines on both sides of the log. The block on the left will have a natural edge and the one on the right won't. After cutting the blanks, they can be trimmed round on the bandsaw. Nailing a cardboard template to the blank as a guide, I can trim the corners to make it round. It also marks the center of the bowl to mount on the lathe. Starting with a round blank on the lathe makes it much easier to start turning. There is a pre-drilled hole in the top of the blank for the drive center to mount to the headstock of the lathe. I cut a spigot at the bottom of the bowl and rough turn the outside of the bowl. The bowl spigot is then mounted in the chuck. Then the inside of the bowl is rough turned and the outside is finished cut. While turning the inside of the bowl, the thickness of the sidewall as well as the bottom are checked often. The inside of the bowl is finished turned. The bowl will now be set aside to dry for 4 to 6 weeks before sanding. Turning a bowl green allows the bowl to shape itself. The bowl has dried for about 6 weeks. The spigot is still on the bowl and the chuck is locked. I start sanding with 150 grit, sanding each quadrant. Then unlock the chuck and sand with the bowl spinning at about 50 RPMs and do the same for the remaining grits of 180, 220, and 320. Then the finish is applied. The finish I am using here is a food grade oil urethane finish. It is applied to a bowl that has been sanded to 320 grit. After application of the finish, it is wiped to remove excess finish and let dry for 2 days. It is then sanded with 400 grit and then recoated in the same fashion, and this is repeated with 600 grit. The bowl is reverse chucked in the lathe using a fixture to access the bottom of the bowl. The bottom is trimmed flat and the spigot is removed, creating a recess. Then it is sanded in the same procedure as before at 320 grit. Then it is signed, dated, and numbered. Finish is applied and the excess is removed and left to dry. 3 coats total sanded in between. Wax is applied to the bowl, then buffed with the lathe to remove any small irregularities in the finish. It is then buffed by hand to complete the bowl. Thanks for watching.